Hi and welcome everybody. Today we are going to be talking about the Beluga 2.0. Now, you'll have to excuse because we're going to go through. This is my first kind of really setup. Oh, what do you think? We just made this, so there is going to be more on the back wall here and on the side wall, so we can do more talks, bench talks, upgrades, blah blah blah. You know, whatever we come across, we're going to figure out the lighting and everything else. So let us know what you think. Now back to the Beluga 2.0 or the HB1011. As a whole, great vehicle. Love the scale aspects to it. Drives really well, stock-ish. You know, the standard ESC, you know, it's not great, but it's doable. It's, you know, seen worse, had worse. Drives well. You know, you can't get that low modulation that you want. It was absolutely a little firecracker. She used to drive really fast and loves to tip over. Now, as for upgrades, as you'll see, we've upgraded to the Injora Wheels. Injora Wheels, yep. Injora tyres. We've got the blue Injora inserts in here. All work really well. We've got the blue inserts in the Gladius as well. I found those amazing. They work a little bit better in the Gladius because she's a little bit heavier. This definitely needs some more weights. You know, we've already added weight with the tyre wheel combination off the standard plastic. Plastic one that came with it. It's a real shame that that was glued on. I would have loved to give these tyres, because they're not, I mean, they don't have the soft compound of, you know, obviously the Enduras, but I thought they could do well in certain circumstances, especially on rocks. I would love to give them a shot, but it's just the plastic wheels just had no weight to them whatsoever. The inside of it, I should have grabbed another wheel. It's not the easiest to put weights on, and the biggest thing is they were glued on. I would have loved to chuck them on here to give them a fair run and see how they went. Just the plastic wheels made them way too light. The foam's inside them. They, you know, they've just got a ton of side roll. You know, it's, you know, obviously the wheels were its biggest hindrance. But like I said, I would have loved to have tested those. I did pull one off. I did de-glue it, but the seam, the inner seam for it to, you know, actually put it and mount it on a normal wheel, it just wasn't there. I did, you know, like I said, I did de-glue one, tried to mount it onto a couple of different rims, and it's just a no-go. Anyway, back to this. Oh, I can't remember. What is... King Trekkers. That's them. We're obviously running the different... We've got 3 different Enduras now. We've got the Kraken, the Swamp Claw, and the King Trekker. Love the look of these tyres on this. I think it looks amazing. It looks really scale. The sidewall grip on these, you know, phenomenal. I do find I do prefer my Swamp Trackers, the Swamp Claws, sorry. It runs really well. I found they grip amazing. The Krakens, they do really well as well. But saying that, these grip really well, but I just don't think they perform as well as the other two. What I am going to do is, which I haven't done yet, so keep tuned, I'm going to run all sets of tyres on probably my Gladius. I know how that one, you know, it's weighted well, it drives well, so I think that one is a great one to test it on, and I will run, if my daughter will let me steal her wheels, run all the different tyres on one set of vehicles and just, you know, give you my opinion from there. See where they might outshine one or the other. But yeah, we'll take that one from there. On the outside, the only thing we've really done is I've put on these ramps, sand ladders. That I've done the metal on the front. That is pretty much it. I've got to say, all of these held up really well. This thing has taken, I don't know if it's picking up on the camera, but the black's being rubbed off a bit here and there. It's taken quite a bit of a beating. This has taken some horrendous falls down, numerous rocks and everything else. Thought I would have smashed the light bar up. She has got a few scars, but she's held up well. The wipers have held up. The mirrors fold in really well. You know, I've lost one of the little black caps here, tumbling down quite a few rocks, pushing the limits out of it. But I mean, a bit of touch-up black paint. I mean, there is a cap that comes here. I did look, couldn't find it. Yeah. Besides that, the shovel and all of these accessories, the ladder on the other side still works. Great. Snorkels, taking a beating, all the rest of it. Now, as for insides, the shell, it's got a great little cage on it. Not as much protection up here, but the roof rack and everything else seems to be doing well. There's not a single crack on this, touch wood, as of yet. The lights, yeah, they're pretty funky. You know, there's a lot of, you know, stuff and they're fun. But what we've done at the moment is I have just temporarily taken the receiver out of the Gladius. It's the original one out of the Gladius. I'm now running the CT8A, the Rolalo, however you want to say that as well. Running that transmitter and receiver, which I'm finding really great. But yeah, so I had this spare, put that in solely for what we were having issues with was with the standard. It was coming to about a quarter turn, nice and steady, modulate, sorry, God, I can't think of the word, modulated, that's not the correct word, but anyway, you know what I mean. But then it would get to about a quarter and then it'd just be full lock. So there was a bit of a glitch. Replaced the servo for a Injora 35 kg, just to see, because I thought it was maybe, you know, just a cheap servo that was causing the issue. Not the issue. Loving this servo. It's quite strong for just a 35 kg. Haven't had it bog anywhere, to be honest. And as much as this doesn't have portal weights, which it's going to get, it is not a light vehicle. But wasn't that, it ended up being the receiver. So happy with that. Obviously we can't run any of the lights at the moment. Speaking of the lights, I did not put conformal coating on when I first ran it. I think it was the second time we ran it, it got a little bit dirty just on the wheels. Gave it a bit of a spray down, nothing blasting or anything ridiculous. This was actually on. I was literally just spraying down with the garden hose onto the wheels to wash those off, and that just flicking up shorted out all the electrics. When they dried, I think these two lights don't work. That wasn't working, that is now working, that's dried out. But you know, the lights are amazing. It's not something I use all the time, so it's, you know, something we're getting to, but it hasn't been first on my agenda. As for upgrades inside, besides this, we have gone for the Fusion SE 1800. That was on sale at AliExpress. I think it was like I think I got that one for about 58 quid. We bought another one and it was like 60 quid. For that, you just kind of, you can't argue. I was going to put a 1080 in this, and it was a no-brainer. My daughter has been upgrading her Beluga 1.0. That's been coming out of her own pocket money. So we were going to look at a 1080 on that. Then when this came up, you know, I just decided to help a little bit and chipped in a little bit on that, and she put that money that she was going to put into a different ESC into it. So she's got one in hers now, which is, you know, like I say, for 60 quid, it's a no-brainer. We went for the 1800s. We had the 1800 in the Gladius. Works amazing because they run the portals. It just gives you that extra power. So with this, the same kind of setup basically. We decided it wasn't even worth, and like I say, because of that sale, we just went straight to the 1800. I have put a bit of tape on the bottom of this because it doesn't matter which motor goes in here, the standard or the fusion, they both used to rock, and it used to muck around with the mesh. So, you know, on this one, you'll see with the Gladius, the Traxxas and all the rest of it, their cage kind of comes over just here. You generally have 2 screws here, 1 screw here. That kind of holds it down. Oddly enough, this has an extra 2 screws, which you would think would hold it even more secure, but it just, it doesn't. So they've overcomplicated a system that already worked, you know, and it doesn't. So the engine mount, the motor mount for Gladius, Traxxas, those kind of things, that does not fit this because of this cage. You can get the motor mount for this, Portugal, Malaysia. I know a few people over there, they can get it, but we cannot get it in the UK. I don't know where else can get it, but we cannot get it here. I've had a look for it. There's nowhere you can order it here, and I have looked in Malaysia, but they will not send it. So what I did was packed it with a bit of tape, and that's working fine. Got the mesh. Just I greased up the portals and the diffs, front and rear on this. Straight off, obviously the first run, I think I ran it, you know, impatience. Ran that, but yeah, greased those up because they were bone dry in mine. Absolutely bone dry. There was not an ounce of grease whatsoever in the portals. The diffs, can't remember the front or the back. I mean, there was the tiniest piece, but it was not even on the gear itself. It was on the side of one of the cogs. So I greased those up. Just recently, I have greased up the gearbox, stripped that down, pulled it apart. Oh my God, this thing is running so quiet when I greased up that gearbox. It is silent. We just recently ran this along with, I think my daughter had her Gladius, and then we went out with my Gladius and her Beluga. And when you run the others, it was like so noisy. You're just like, oh my God, that's so noisy compared to this. This runs so quiet now. I have greased up the gearbox in the Gladius. It hasn't made, you know, obviously it needed grease. The Gladius has been through a ton of water as well, so that's why I was doing it. But yeah, it has quieted down a little bit, as grease will. But yeah, this, I could not believe the difference. All metal gears, so it's not as if it's running, you know, any plastic gears or anything like that. Everything's metal in the gearbox. So, you know, anyway. High-low is working still on this, not on the Gladius. My rear locker works on this, but the front has packed it in. Now, I'm more thinking it's to do with this receiver, because like I say, when it got wet, it had a ton of glitches. So I don't think it's the 2 servos that are packed in. I think it's that, but like I say, this was a temporary, just to see if it works, and it does, so I will be looking at putting another receiver in there, and we'll work out the light situation down the line. We run XT60s on all of ours. No, this one's got the standard. I didn't change the Velcro on that. We are going to be running, there's a bit of bling as my wheel hubs. We will be running portal weights. I'm going to run portal weights on this, that's for sure, because she's a bit of a top heavy beast. She wants to roll, not as bad as my daughter's beluga. The wheel track on this is a lot wider than on the beluga 1.0. There's, I can't remember, I put the 2 side by side, gave them a measurement, but it's a good 25 mil, 30 mil difference. Hers is too narrow. We're going to put wideners on hers. We're going to put wider hexes on hers, because hers is just tall and narrow and wants to roll over. You know, unbelievable what that thing just rolls over and lands on its hood all the time. But I mean, this one's just its weight. It's got a good wide stance, but I just need portal weights on it, just to give it a bit more low down weight on that. The other one, I do have a diff cover, brass diff cover. I stole that off my Gladius. So TRX4, Gladius, the beluga, it will work, and my daughter has, I bought her, actually she bought a new brass one for hers. So they all fit. The portals, they will not. The portals are different. So you can get brass for these, but you can't use the TRX4s. They just won't fit. They're a complete different system. So this is the axle itself, all the same. Drive shafts are the same. Your links the same. Everything else, but the outer portal hubs themselves, they're different. You'll notice on the Traxxas 4 or Gladius or any of those, they have, what is it, 4, I think it is, 4 or 6 on the inside and 2 on the outside. These just have, I think it's 4 on the outside, different shape. So we are going to get some brass. It's not a big drama. Obviously, if we could have used the same, you know, we can just bounce them between vehicles, but it's not the end of the world. This will be getting some, like I say, getting some brass weights, just because that's the only hindrance I find. She's a bit top heavy. She just needs a little bit more low down weight. So I'll get some portal weights off that. Upgrades shocks, amazing stock. I think I've re-oiled my daughter's, but I haven't redone these ones yet. This one here, the front left, it just squawks a little, but it seems to be rubbing more on the spring than anything. All the others are fine, they work well. These shocks are a hell of a lot better than the one that comes standard on the Gladius. They work well, but the one on the Gladius, their shafts are, they're spaghetti. I can literally bend them with my fingers. I've straightened them out in the field. We've bent about 4 or 5 of those now. My daughter's actually came with a bent shock out of the box. Yeah, so, you know, they work reasonably well, but they're not great. But I've found these ones, they've been tough. They've, you know, you do a side roll and the Gladius, you'll bend a shock. It's not here nor there, you know, we will be upgrading the shocks, but like I say, I have quite a few vehicles, so it all adds up to do them all, so bit by bit, but I'm really happy with these shocks. I can't think really anything else. Motor we've upgraded. Probably if it's the servos, I'll upgrade those. We're going to change this out. We'll figure out the lighting system, because the steering was the only big hindrance on it. It just made it, you know, you get into tight conditions, and you didn't just have that modulated steering. I know I'm using the wrong word on that. It's been a long week, but bear with me. So now it makes it a lot better to drive. Like I say, new servo, those things are just, you know, standard place. But besides that, I'll say, pretty happy. You know, putting the plastics on, it is what it is. I love this. I love not having the clips. These are a bit faffy. Mine, they have their own little idiosyncrasies. Mine, I find I have to, you know, push to one side and get this one in the back. I have to push on one wheel arch to click it in. My daughter's, hers works a lot better than mine does, but I mean, once they're clipped in, they're amazing. We've never had them unclip out of all of their rolls. So yeah, that's about it. If you would like to know anything else, you know, just give us a comment. I'll try and answer any kind of questions. We'll do another video if it warrants it. We're going to try and do some more benches. Again, tell me what you think. Any constructive criticism, we are going to be adding more to our back wall bits and pieces. You know, we'll be making that a hell of a lot nicer. It's pretty plain. We'll be putting our logo on, we'll be doing some stuff. So my daughter is the artistic one, so she'll come up with things on that. We'll be running through the vehicles. If this is something that you like, please let us know. We're going to run through all the vehicles. We'll be doing upgrades, or, you know, what we think of different vehicles. If I've got to fix anything now that we've got this, we're just setting it all up. I've got to work on lighting, blah, 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 all of that stuff. But yeah, do subscribe and like. It does make a massive difference. So please enjoy the video and stay tuned for the next one. See you later.